Let's get into it with headlines. Yes, this is headlines. This is where we make up headlines and we determine whether or not they are real or fake news. As I alluded to before, we're going to get things started with the New York Knicks. Headline number 1, Knicks take over Philadelphia. Sixers just too soft. I'll get things started, Kwab. I'll get this started. I will.
He's like, he said, I'm just store it to myself.
Bro, I didn't even let Kwab talk in the intro. Like, didn't ask him how he was doing.
Like, by the way,
just going straight for the jugular. Real news, baby. This is real news. Listen, this is what I was trying to tell everybody beforehand. I'm not gonna give out any names of people who I work with in the industry, but some people pick the Sixers in this series that I work with and who I know professionally pick the Sixers in this series because of Joel Embiid, right? Because Joel Embiid he's the best player in the series. He is. He's better than Brunson. That's fine. No big deal. And Tyrese Maxey, who's going to side Maxey? I get it. You know, the talent's a great thing, but you don't have the toughness of New York City, baby. Sixers are just too soft for this team. They are. It's playoff basketball, and the Knicks are made to play playoff basketball. Listen, you can say whatever you want about Tom Thibodeau and his coaching style, but he has molded this team for this moment. The Knicks play 82 games. They go hard every single game, and I don't think it's a coincidence that when it comes to playoff time, they are going to beat a team like the 76ers who don't. You know, not to say that they didn't have injuries, not to say that they didn't have things they had to take care of, but they didn't have the sense of urgency like the New York Knicks did all season. To be honest with you, frankly, I don't know how many teams did. I think that's the difference in this series right now. If you look at the offensive rebounds, if you look at the defensive possessions, this is Tom Thibodeau. This is Tibbs. All the Tibbs haters out there, this is him. He's winning this series for them, not just with adjustments. We can talk about Achua. We can talk about OG Garden Embiid. We can talk about all that. But Tom Thibodeau has installed this grit, this mentality into this team, and baby, it's paying off. Sixers just too soft, baby. I know it's not over. It's not over. This might come back to bite me in the ass, but cloud nine. I'm on cloud 9. This is real news. Kwab, Sixers just too soft. Real or fake news?
I will say fake news just to annoy you. Because I don't like the phrasing of soft. I just don't like that. I don't like the phrasing. Is it over? Well, when it comes down to it, we both picked the Knicks to win
We
this
did.
series.
You and I both did, yeah.
We both didn't even have the Sixers coming out the play-in. That's
I forgot about that.
we caught a little bit of flack from that from all like
Listen, Jimmy
Philly
Butler
fans,
doesn't
whatever,
go down.
but,
Who
like,
knows what happens? But go ahead.
I'm just saying.
Just saying.
I'm just saying. We didn't even have Philly coming out of the plane. The series is kind of going how I expected it to go in terms of how the Knicks are winning, because the Knicks they just make the hustle plays. They make the big plays during crunch time. They used to kind of, when they make people say the phrase of playing in the mud or playing dirty, like they're used to playing that way and just playing harder. Like I think this previous game there's a sequence where Josh Hart got like 3 crucial offensive rebounds, and it made a difference. Even the game where it felt like it was over for the Knicks and you guys pulled out the victory when you guys were down, I think 5. It was Isaiah Hartenstein got a bunch of offensive rebounds that led to the 3-pointers. They just have players that make those like big key plays when it's time to, and that's why I'm not gonna say the Sixers are soft. I just think it's just a case of the Knicks have the better team overall. To me, when I look at the matchups, even yes, granted Embiid is not healthy, which is a big factor in it. But just the style of play.
But he's been playing well. I mean,
factor.
he didn't have a good fourth quarter, but he's been playing well all series. He's been the best player all series. Honestly, if you're going to pick an MVP of the series, even though the Knicks are down up 3-1, and even though Brunson just dropped 47, in my mind, I think you could make a case for Embiid in the way he's played all year, all series. I don't think it's an asinine
definitely
statement.
can, especially for everything he's dealing with, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. He's been playing really well. It's just like I said, we both had the Knicks winning this series, so nothing I'm seeing is surprising me. The only thing I'll say that is surprising me was that when I saw the clips of Knicks fans in Philly going crazy. Now,
listen,
it's one thing.
Yep.
It's one thing.
Yep.
It's one thing. If it's half, then like let's say if it's happening like in Brooklyn, like because it's whatever, it's still New
Right.
York, whatever. I get that. Whereas like the commute is right there. This is not even that long a commute, but just to see the amount of, not even the amount. Let's say this: when I was watching the game, it was so loud during plays for the Knicks. I was like, yo, this feels like a home game.
Yeah,
That's
it is
crazy.
crazy. It's
That's
absolutely
that's
insane. And
crazy.
I've been going to Knick games in Philadelphia since 2006. Essentially, since my first year, Kwab and I went to college in the area. We didn't go to college in Philadelphia, but we went to college about 30 minutes from Philadelphia. And
Yo,
every year I would go to the games where the Knicks played the Sixers, and every year the Sixers would beat the crap out of the Knicks. And both teams are bad. Like both teams are terrible. So it was like an
yeah.
empty building. But I have been to Knicks Sixer games where it's like, yo, I'm not gonna cheer too hard, or yeah, like I'm gonna be kind
You
of
gotta be kind
careful.
of careful.
Yeah, I went
Yeah.
to a Magic Sixers game. Our mutual friend, shout out to Kizzo, who gets mentioned on this pod like every month for some reason. Somewhere or
Random
another,
name, but
Kizzo shout out. But Kizzo at the time was a Magic fan. I know he switches up, but he's a big Dwight Howard fan. And we went to a Magic Sixers game, and dudes try to fight Kizzo from wearing a Dwight Howard jersey.
that was
Like,
Jersey. Yeah.
like I had another sweet mate. Shout out to Chuck, Coach Chuck. Um, he was a Giants fan, and he would go to Giants Eagles games. And I was like, dude, I want to go with you. And he came back to one of the games. He's like, don't you ever go to Lincoln Financial Stadium because you will get killed. You will die.
They'll try to
You
fight
will
you.
die. And I know that's an Eagles game, but Eagles, Sixers, Phillies, they're the same fans, essentially.
The same spot.
Same
They
spot.
all play in the same spot.
Yeah, they all play in the same
Yeah.
parking lot
So
for
that
people who don't know. It's literally all in the same
yeah.
parking lot. So yeah, man, just to see that was kind of interesting, especially because the Sixer fans and the Philadelphia fans that I know too, like, wouldn't tolerate that. They would, like, if I
Yeah. That's like I was shocked. That's I'm still confused. I'm like, yo, was it because it was like a Sunday game and it was early? Like I'm that they were like chanting FNB. I'm like, yo, this is kind of jarring. I'm shocked. I'm shocked at that. But it happens. That happens. That aside, all that aside, yeah, I feel like the Knicks should either close it out the next game
bro, I
or the
just saw
game
your
after.
name. I just saw your name for the fucking thing. I hate you, bro. I'm leaving
I'll wait
this.
for you to
Hold on,
notice.
I'm leaving this in. So we have to log into. We're recording on this program called remotely. Sometimes they do StreamYard, and you have to put your name in. I put Josh. I put Josh every single time. Kwab mixes it up. He puts something else every time. We're using remotely, so you don't typically see the name right away. I don't, at least. And Kwab put his name as DEI hire. I hate you, bro.
I saw a thread on Twitter or whatever X, and it pissed me off. That's the reason that I
Oh
put that.
my
But
god, bro.
it annoyed me.
That's
These
so
people are
funny,
annoying
bro.
me.
That's so
People are
funny.
annoying me. But
Bro, the
whew,
play-in's basically
that
like
aside,
the play-in's like DEI. That's DEI.
yeah.
I don't know what we're saying. Basically, it shocks us that
Basically,
Philadelphia
yeah.
allowed that to happen, because I've never seen.
They
I
allowed
never
that to
thought I
happen.
would see that in Philadelphia. If you were going to
Same.
say, "Hey, name the city this happened where the Knicks fans took over," Philadelphia would be last on my list. It
It
honestly
would be
would have.
less.
It would have been last on my list for sure. So
Yeah, I'm
before
shocked.
we move
But
on to the next highlight, Quab, is this series over?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
I felt like it was over. It was over to me. It was over when you guys won game two,
Really? Okay.
because that's like the Sixers should have won that game.
Yeah, they should
That's
have.
no
You're right.
like that.
Yeah.
Sixers should have won that game. Like I was surprised. No, not even surprised. I'll say this: the Sixers should have won game two. Game three, the Knicks should have won game three because Embiid shouldn't have been in the game for the 50 points after he was out here doing sweep legs and knee people in the in the groin and all this.
Listen,
He was doing all this crazy
I
stuff,
know.
and I saw a lot of complaining on the people like, oh my God, he should have been kicked out. Side note, and I texted you this last year when the Sixers played the Nets and Embiid kicked Claxton in the nuts.
No one cared.
And I was like, dog, he should have got kicked out of the game. People were like, oh, dog, you're being a homer. The Sixers are. I'm like, fine, cool, whatever you say. That man is one of the most talented big men, talented players to ever play the
Yeah,
game.
he
But
is.
he's also very clumsy, and he falls weird, and he does all this weird stuff that he gets away with. I get that because it was in Philly and it's a playoff game. Maybe they felt the pressure, like, oh, we can't kick him out. That's not a that's a flagrant too. I've never seen somebody grab somebody in the
Oh, that
air
was
while you're on
wild.
the ground. I've never seen that before. But that aside, I the Knicks should be able to close. I feel like they should be able to close out the game, and then the next game or the game after. But if you guys, and this goes to Knicks fans, if you thought game three was bad in terms of like the antics, or even this game
Yeah.
in terms of the antics between Embiid and like Kyle Lowry doing his
Oh
crazy
my
stuff, it's
God.
gonna be worse.
Don't get me
It's gonna
started
be
on
worse
Kyle.
next game. So
Don't get me started on Kyle Lowry. He does not play basketball.
future Hall of Famer Kyle Lowry,
You need to stop that right now. That's not even funny.
future Hall of Famer
That's
Kyle
not.
Lowry. Look at
All
his
right.
resume.
Let's move on to headline number 2.